and welcome back to a new and improved Voices Beyond Borders. This is season 3, and a lot has changed. Long gone are the Zoom days. Today, we are in studio with deeper conversations, bigger questions, and voices that truly deserves to be heard. Voices Beyond Borders was always about stories that move across borders: geographical, professional, social, and sometimes even personal. And this season, we're taking things further than ever before. This new chapter is made possible thanks to the generous support of our sponsor, the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lebanon, whom we thank for their support for youth, conversation, and dialogue. And to launch this season, I could not think of a better first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Bryan Youssef. Hi, Bryan. كيفك?
Hi, Francesco. Thank you for having me. It's a big pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Bryan is a medical doctor by design, but his journey goes far beyond the hospital walls. He is an entrepreneur, an innovator, and a strong advocate for youth empowerment. His story sits at the intersection of medicine, entrepreneurship, technology, and public impact. And this is exactly the kind of voices we want to highlight this season. Bryan, are you ready
Francesco.
to start?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. هلا قبل ما نبلش بالconversation تبعنا ونشوف نحكي أكثر about your achievements و accomplishments حتى ال challenges. عرفنا مين هو براين يوسف in your own words.
It's always a tough question to introduce yourself, especially when you do a lot of things. But for me, the core of identifying yourself or getting an identity is tightly linked to the way that you were raised or the way that you saw the world. And for me, it was like the easiest way to identify someone was to put him in a box, to give him a label. You are this and you are that. And for me, it was a shifting point when I started seeing that and nothing that. And what I wanted was not to be in any box. It's like we call it now a polyman, or for other people, a paradox.
Exactly.
Like, how could you be a doctor and working on something else at the same time and traveling at the same time and doing policy, etc.? And that's exactly how I define myself. I'm a modern man, polyman. That is a paradox for
That's
most
great.
of the people.
وهلا بعد بس نخلص بالconversation رح يكونوا الaudience عم بيسمعوا exactly how your story shifts from one category, from one domain into another. How you do it very seamlessly صراحة يعني. Those who follow you online can really see you're on top of everything, which is great.
Yeah, it became part of my identity, like dividing
Exactly.
stuff and being pretty much everywhere in order to get the impact I want to share pretty much everywhere in all the categories I'm interested in.
طب براين مثل ما حكينا أنت بلشت as a medical doctor. This is فينا نقول your main profession. و medicine أما الطب هو بحد ذاته شيء كتير متطلب, something very demanding. فأنا سؤالي لإلك, أي متى بلشت تفكر بالentrepreneurship كخيار لإلك كمان aside from medicine as well?
لوك فرنش رح اقلب على العربي بعتقد لانه
إيه، صح.
نسال الاسئله بالعربي. الانتربرينور بعتقد انه من اول طريق، يعني عم بحكيك من بعدني بالمدرسه بمحل معين تدفشك لانه it's something هلا we used to say like everyone could be an entrepreneur and everything. It's not true. It's either you are or not from the very young age. And for me, the whole journey to medical school was very difficult because it's always challenging. I wasn't a good student at school, and this is something that asks you even more because you have to prove yourself to your tutors, to your parents, and to everyone. So entrepreneurship started there. Like, I want to enter the Faculty of Medicine of USG, and I want to pass the entrance exam, and it's something you have to work for. You have to create your own plan, your own work, etc. And that's what the first plan of being an entrepreneur. Then when I passed and saw that it's not that hard and I can do it and I can help others doing it too, and this is where it's also started. Like, I have the idea, I have the product or the problem solving, and I want to give it to someone else, and it started there. And this is how actually Edubold started. I guess we'll talk about it later. So entrepreneurship started there, and I grew with it because first of all, entrepreneurship is let's make money, let's create a business, etc. But then it's completely the opposite. In our world, there's a lot of entrepreneurs in their own companies doing the impact they need to do to make the company or the society even better.
Brian, you touched on a very important point هون. كلنا بنعرف entrepreneurship, yes, it's about making money, it's about getting rich, بس بنفس الوقت entrepreneurship is about solving a problem.
Exactly.
finding a need معنا إياها بالمجتمع ونكون عم نحلها to create an impact. فسؤالي الثاني هون لك, it's a follow-up question. Did medicine حضرك لعالم entrepreneurship أما did it challenge it? حسيت إنه it's a contradictory in a way.
It's yes and a no. لأنه for me each challenge or problem is also the opportunity to solve it. But in medical school, especially in Lebanon and especially in very traditional universities, entrepreneurship is not very welcomed in the medical world because it's either you're a doctor, you're saving lives, you're doing the
Very
right thing to do.
traditional,
Yes,
very by the box.
exactly. Or you want to do everything else and start doing innovation and bringing technology all over, etc. So my point was, it was challenging, yes, but when you start framing it or branding it in the right way, it starts making sense to a lot of people. Like, yes, we can do that because doctors are also solving a lot of problems, health problems. So why not solve also problems in society that could bring the whole body of society, because we're body doctors, to become better. And of course, the soul will follow up with the body. So it was, yes, very challenging. But on the other side, when you start looking at it in a more holistic way, like, okay, and now what can I do? Shall I stop or challenge to my professors, just like I did at school, challenge them to see the good part of it? And I guess it works because a lot of medical students now in my faculty have also become entrepreneurs and working on their own problems. So yeah, that's great.
Look, I think كمان هلا especially بأوقاتنا now, it's becoming more understandable that entrepreneurship is something that we cannot live without. حتى إذا it's something you did not study in university, it's something especially كلبنانية, we're born with it. We need to hustle, we need to solve problems, we need to find like هيك segues to solve problems. It's in our DNA.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's just how to include it within your own domain and make it fit with what you're trying to do.
And even if you don't brand it as entrepreneur, because a lot of people are solving problems, it could be for or for non-profit, but they are solving problems and they are entrepreneurs in the society, in their companies, in their faculties, in their families. It's called being an entrepreneur, and that's the definition we should start shifting. It's not millions of dollars in raising to become an entrepreneur. It's the whole opposite. It's just solving something that brings value to people.
100%. براين إذا بدنا نرجع تنقول 5-6 سنين لورا، أول ما بلشت بعالم entrepreneurship حسيت إنه بدك تعمل your own startup، شو كانوا أكتر الأوقات اللي واجهت فيها مشاكل؟ وأي متى عن جد حسيت حالك إنه خلص this is not for me, I don't want to continue this path، بدي أعمل دكتور ريح راسي و that's it.
Yes, for me the beginning، يعني أول كم سنة بلشنا فيهم كانوا كتير صعبين لأنه for me, I come from a very modest family. We're not the big families of Beirut or the whole Mount Lebanon region. I come from Akkar. It's very far from Beirut, from the capital, from how the word here actually works. And this is where the business is. So that's something I was carrying with me. And then come to here and find the shock that, okay, مش مثل ما أنا كنت متوقع. It's not the kind-hearted that is working for a good purpose that always wins. And it's somewhere that puts barriers, like okay طب انا ماني معمول لهالشغله، انا ماني معمول لكون بهيدا الدومين، ما عندي العلاقات اللي غيري عنده اياهم، ما عندي العلاقات اللي الكومبيتيتور اوريدي بنيهم قبلي والى اخره. And that's something that would give you setbacks, like am I really built to do that? Is it something I really need to do or want to do? Yes, more of an imposter in your own word, you know, like looking around and okay وهلا شو بعمل؟ وهي كانت اصعب شغله عندي، انه كيف بدي اتخطى هالشغله، كيف بدي اخلق شيء جديد لإلي، عرفت؟ شيء جديد، نيو براند العالم يمكن ببيروت ما أنا متعود عليها او ما بتعرفها، واقدر فوت بهالنتوركس، the big communities, the big نسميهم accelerators, incubators, and to give my own image there. I'm not any other one that's coming to solve this problem. So it was very difficult at the beginning, but again, once you brand yourself in a good way, like you are a good person, you're doing great impact, and you're not always worried about the big problems that are coming up or following up, it will get easier. But يعني بتكتها the challenge is very difficult, and you like seem that everything is falling apart. خلص بدي اترك وبطل بدي وكذا. But looking back at the journey now, it was good that we continued, and that's where the team also is there to push you forward, your family, the whole world behind you. So yeah.
براين احنا رح نرجع نحكي شوية about the challenges، بس هون في a really good point that you mentioned. It's perseverance.
Yeah.
It's very important. يعني especially كentrepreneurs ما فينا كل ما يطلع مشكلة قدامنا خلص that's it, I don't want to continue، لأنه كل يوم رح يطلع لنا مشكلة جديدة. It's part of the process كمان. يعني if you don't go through all of these problems, all of these challenges, you cannot grow. ما فيك تكون أنت عم تثبت من حالك إنه okay I got this, I believe in myself. ما عم نقول ما حتقطع أوقات إنه أنت okay you doubt yourself. This is very normal. كل إنسان بيقطع بهذا الشيء.
It's about the journey. It's all ups and downs, because if it's always ups, you will get bored of the whole system.
What's the reward at the end of the day?
Yes, exactly. And it's very cliche what I'm going to say, but the winner that we see as the winner is a loser that just tried another time.
Another time.
I know, like everyone knows that, but when you think about it in a good way or always thinking about it, it just pushes you forward to continue. Like
you just need one extra day. That day could give you everything you were looking for. 100%.
exactly.
Brian, that extra day, Edubolt, your first startup. خبرنا more about it. How did it start? شو المشكلة عم تجربوا تحلوها? And why is it personal لإلك أنت كبراين?
Yes, exactly. And that's something that everyone tells me. Edubolt is very personal because it's based on my own story. Again, I was not a good student at school. And this good student couldn't, depending to the school's guideline and to the Lebanese guideline, go to medical school because you don't have the standard, the grades to get there. And then it was my challenge. Like even my tutors told me, you can't apply. It's not for you. It's gonna break you, etc.
Wanted to prove them wrong.
Yes, so I left school for 2 weeks and I was like, okay, I will go and study alone and I don't care and I'm gonna try this exam. And I did it and got a very good rank all over Lebanon upon the 3,000 people that were applying. I was in the top 20, let's say. So it's something
That's huge.
Yeah, that brought me like an idea, a spark. Like the problem is not me. The grades at school is not me the problem. Maybe the whole environment. So let's continue studying alone in my own way with using technology. It was VR, it was booming there with the new meta, etc. So let's study alone using that, my way of learning. And it got me very good result. I was ranked upon the top students in Lebanon for Bac Français. And this taught me something. I was like, okay, if I could do it, I'm sure that this technique or this way of learning
replicated.
Yes, might help another student that doesn't have good grade because he's just out of the box. He just want to learn using technology or YouTube or videos, or he's not a visual learner, another learner, you know? So we started not as a company, as a group of friends, and especially me because I wanted some extra cash. And for me, it wasn't like working anywhere else. I could just give courses. I'm a medical student now. I can give courses. It started with one student that got good results. Lebanese moms started telling their Lebanese moms in their subhiyya, etc. And I got from one student to 2 to 5 to 10 to 50. And I remember when I hit 50 students, I was like, okay, stop. I can't. I'm a medical student too. I have responsibilities. Let's hire people, my friends at faculty, to give these courses too, but using my techniques. So my Google Drive, my my VR, etc.
بلشت تحط الفول process.
Exactly. We started framing the company that is going to be an edtech company. We're not an après-école center, etc. We are there to be an edtech company, giving courses in a very inspiring way, very cool way. And then it started growing from me hiring new people. When we had 10 tutors, I was like, no, I need to register something now because like the law will come after me. Yes. So it's growing. And then we founded Edubold. That is now success, let's say, all over Lebanon. We still have a lot to do, especially expanding to the region, but I'm sure we can do that.
طيب براين شو بتعملوا Edubolt now؟ إذا حدا فات عندكم على الويب سايت what do they see؟
In a nutshell, like Edubolt is not for school, it's not for university, it's the gap in between. A lot of students need exams to pass in their high school years when they are not mature enough, and I'm saying it out loud. Choosing a career or choosing a university or a path is very difficult at 18 or 17. So they need help. So we start by doing orientation. We do have our own career orientation guide. It's called Pathfinders. We do a few events in person. We bring universities from Lebanon and from abroad to be there for free for students and for universities in order for them to network with universities, find their own major, etc. There is also a lot of talks, study in France, study in UK, study in the US, in order for students to get this pass, something I didn't have back in the days. So that's the first part. The second part is everything they would need to study and pass, even though grades and exams are not defining student, but they need to do it. It's the whole system. So every entrance exam or international standard exam that we need in Lebanon, we're teaching now. It could be entrance exam for universities, BAU, AUB, USG, Lebanese universities, LIU, any university in Lebanon, but also all the standardized exam that we need, basically IELTS, TOEFL, DELF, maybe MCAT for medical school, etc., etc. So it's the gap in between. And finally, it's the way that we give it. It's an edtech startup. We do have our own LMS. We developed something like Moodle or Blackboard, but for Edubolt. So students take courses there. There's the AI that's monitoring the students, finding their weak points, their strengths points, and then sending reporting for everyone, the tutor, the parent, if we need it, and the students. You're there. That's what you need. and that's how you do it, and that's how we get the best results because it's tailored. So we're shifting education from standardized, a one size fits all, to a personalized one.
I love that. هلا I'm a little bit biased, Brian. I know Edubold صار لي تقريبا 3 years. I know your journey. I've worked with you personally. But what I want to say here إنه okay, هلا people there will listen to you. They will watch this episode. They will see the passion. Like this is not something you're doing مثل ما قلنا just for cash, just to get some money وتكفي لشيء تاني. You're really passionate about your mission and what you're trying to do. And this actually is translated بالimpact that you're doing. يعني مثل ما حكينا over the past 5 years you've reached thousands and thousands of students all across Lebanon. كمان internationally فينا نقول. أنا بدي سؤالي هون لك يكون شو هي اللحظة أم شو هي المومنت أما الاتشيفمنت الوحيد اللي حسيته إنه this is it, I made it. Edubolt is on the right track.
Look, it's difficult to find one moment or one point in our history that is okay. That's where we're seeing the good thing that we are doing. But for me, it's one word. Like when you start seeing results, it becomes an addiction for you to start working, and that's where the passion stems. So just imagine walking around in a mall, I'm not sure, and the student will come to you with his parents and saying, "You're the guy that taught us and helped us to become a doctor, and I'm a doctor now." So, and it's always coming back. We started 5 years ago, so most of our students are just graduating now and coming back to us like, "We just made it, and we're looking back at the journey. We started with you, we ended with you."
That's amazing.
And that's where you really think about impact, because the first 2 or 3 years there wasn't any profit. It was just like day-to-day operations, trying to keep it working, trying to give these students, because also the social part that we have, all of our tutors are university students. We don't have, I would say, old-fashioned tutors. It's only university students that are top rank and that want to also give impact or share the knowledge that they are giving. Yes, exactly. That's exactly peer-to-peer that we are doing. And when you see that you made job opportunities, like real job opportunities for students that made it through their journey, and then these job opportunities got you result and impact for students to achieve their future or like get to their dreams, and it's just the spark of the journey that's amazing.
That's
so,
great to hear. حتى you can see it in your eyes. Like you're happy about this.
Very.
طيب بلشنا Edubolt. عملنا الامباكت انبسطنا فيها. صرنا لمحل بدنا نعمل شيء تاني. Kubold. What is Kubold?
Edubold is, I would say, a sister company for Edubold, but a whole different niche. Because when we started Edubold, the need was there. Okay, we need to give students the chance to get to their dreams and to apply for their universities, etc. It was there. But halfway through the journey, the AI bubble came, the whole technology. Everyone wants to learn more about coding, about AI, about innovation. And they asked us at Edubold to do it, our students. So we try to do it. It's a whole different niche. It's not the same thing. A student that want to apply to university and is only focusing on his SAT will not be able to focus on coding projects, AI, etc. So we founded a coding academy that was also a great success, because most of the parents now in Lebanon and the world, they just want their child to be AI native. So learn about it, know about it. So Edubolt is just a coding academy now that is giving coding courses, AI courses for students younger than the target audience of Edubolt, from age of 3 years old. We have 3 years old kids doing their own applications on the web, on the store, up to 17. It started there. But then we found schools that wanted their tutor also to know about AI. So we started doing TOT too. So training tutors and schools, even companies, for their employees to be digital natives too. And this is how it went. What made us different? I know there's a lot of coding companies now all over the country, but it was project-based. So no student will come to get theory. No one wants to learn code. Like, I just hate traditional learning. So let's do it in a project. The student will come, have 1 hour of standardized tutoring. Like, that's how code works, etc. Yeah, exactly. It's just very short. And then choose your project. You want to do an application. We have a student that did this in Rabia. I just want an application for me to trade pens with my friends at school and the neighborhood, and it worked. We have someone that it was his dream, let's say, or his goal for that. So he started in very brief theory, and then with the tutors started developing his own project in order for it to work. And that's what Edubolt is about now, teaching coding that's very difficult in a project-based way.
That's good to hear. What's good to hear كمان إنه you're following up along the times. يعني مثل ما بلشنا Edubolt for standardized testing. تقلنا هلا now it's big trend AI coding كل هذا الشيء you're following up along with it عم
Exactly.
بتشوفوا exactly شو your audience is asking for and you're adapting to it which is great عن جد. براين هلا بدي فوت شوي more about your personal side a little bit and personal achievements as a شيء. مثل hopefully everyone knows that you're part of the Global Leadership Council at Generation Unlimited, which is basically representing Lebanon on a very big international stage. What's worth mentioning أنت اللبناني الوحيد on this table.
True.
فشو بيعني لك هيدي المسؤولية؟ To be the only Lebanese representing all the youth على طاولة على محطة عالمية بهالكبر.
Like, looking at it now, sitting on a couch, it's okay. Everyone will say that on camera, like, okay, he's doing the job, like everyone should do. But when you're there, because I was in New York for the UN General Assembly, looking at where you are, on what table you are, and sitting with who, it was like basically billionaires and decision makers from all over the world.
Is this
Yes,
real?
on the same table, like there is the World Bank representative there is a prime minister there, and you're just there as a Lebanese medical student, okay, like entrepreneur that is passionate, but being there is a huge responsibility because it's different from Lebanon. Here, people, when you are young, they look at you as someone that's unprofessional, that needs a lot to learn. There, it was like big leaders coming to you and saying, "You're so young. Why are you on this table? What do you do?" It's super inspiring. And what do you need back in your country or back in your region? Because I'm also representing the MENA, which is huge. Like looking back at it, you're like, I'm not only representing myself anymore. It's just a whole country that I'm representing and the whole youth all over the world. Because at GenU in the Global Leadership Council, we work for youth all over the world. So it's more than 1.8 billion youth all over the world that we're advocating for, especially for education, especially for skills, and finally for livelihood. So that's for me a huge responsibility, yes. And it's also a full-time circle, let's say, like
Okay.
I started looking at people like that, like how do they sit on these councils or these boards, and now I'm part of it. And like my job or my responsibility here is to tell people through this mic, for example, that you can also do it, and it's something part of the process. Like I'm not gonna be there, or the CEO of the board of anyone will not be there forever. Like it's
Passing
your
down
time
the torch,
to shine.
teaching everyone how they can be and create the impact that you're doing.
Exactly. And for me, it's one of the quotes that I carry with every day. It could be at the UN, it could be in my company, it could be everywhere. For me, a leader is not someone that can lead people and it's great, it's a good image. No, for me, like a leader will never be an actual leader unless he creates another leader. And that's how it works, because you're not going to be there forever. And that's the big problem that Lebanon has now. So if you want to be there, and your name should be mentioned always, because you created other leaders behind you, and that's the mission I'm giving myself for the next few years.
Brian, this is something كثير حبيته يعني, to be honest. It's very true. In order أنت to create an impact, to leave a legacy at the end of the day, you need to create and empower others as well.
Exactly.
يعني اوكي لوحدك فيك توصل لهون مثلا فينا نقول. But when you empower others, your impact is multiplied. You can create better opportunities. Your voices will be better heard coming at the same time. This is good يعني at such a young age من هلا عم بتفكر بهذا الموضوع, which is amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's very true, because nowadays I guess you see it all over social media. Create your own personal brand, create your brand, etc. It's good. You have to have your own brand, but not by crushing others, because you look at people now, especially so-called entrepreneurs, so-called leaders, that are just crushing the whole team that they have in order to shine there. Like, it's me. I am the center of the big success that we have. And for me, I can say it on mic. I would never be here or all over the world without the actual team that I had, and people that looked at me and say, okay, I don't know you personally, but I see what you have and let me help you get there. And here I can mention many that helped me get also to the Global Leadership Council, which is a huge part. Like, yeah,
exactly.
that's
no, what's very important لأنه كمان مثل ما بتعرف في عالم entrepreneurship, you can do so little alone. You need to be part of an ecosystem.
Exactly.
You need to be part of this a community that helps you يعني إن كان من accelerators, incubators, mentors, coaches, clients, fellow employees. يعني كلنا لازم نكون one hand كرمال نقدر نكون عم نشتغل to create this impact that we want.
Yeah, exactly.
طيب براين حكينا إنه about what does it feel to be at this big stage. When you're on that big stage, وقت أنت قاعد مثل ما قلنا next to this big representatives وهال huge personalities, how do you make sure إنه صوت الشاب اللبناني أما الصوت الشاب العربي عن جد عم بيوصل لوين لازم يكون عم بيوصل؟
Like, it's difficult to say, because on the spot you're not thinking about okay أنا عم بمثل كل الشاب أو كل الشباب العربي أو اللبناني. You're just thinking like for me it makes sense and I'm sure that a lot of people also
Will relate
can
to it.
relate for that. Let me just introduce this point or try to apply this point. Like you are in one of the biggest rooms like in the world. It's only the top ones in the companies that are there. No COO, no advisor. It's just the whole leader alone that are there and networking. And for you and for me to get there, I guess you just have it in your DNA. Like if it's a good point to mention that you saw in the community and you're sure that a lot also saw it, you just have to stand up for yourself, for the youth that you're representing, and say out loud the problem that you see. And it could be anything. So that's how I try to make it. I do an inner review of my whole society and my work. If it's something that I see is wrong or should be mentioned, I'm sure that most of the youth that would be listening would agree, and that's where I make the move. So yeah.
That's so true. Brian, it's important that you mentioned this لأنه هلا especially in the last 3 years كثير عم نحكي about youth empowerment. عم نحكي على تمكين الشباب. It's a buzzword we're using everywhere بس طلع على الأرض هلا especially بلبنان بالكونتكست تبع لبنان المشاكل اللي عم نقطع فيها كلها it's not easy. برأيك أنت بعد ما كل شيء قطعت فيه بعد ما مثلت الشباب وكله شو هو الشغلة الوحيدة اللي الشاب اللبناني عن جد بحاجة لها تيقدر يكون عم بيعمل impact عم تيقدر to reach that next step that he's looking for.
Yes, actually, the point you're mentioning here is my whole speech that I made at the UNGA when I was in New York. Because right now, at this very moment in the 21st century, youth do not need empowerment anymore. You know, the whole thing that I'm in Makin al-Shabab, I'm now youth empowerment, etc. We just don't need it, and we are always framed or labeled by future leaders. You will be the future leaders, I don't know, in 20, 30 years. It's not true. We're leaders now, each and everyone. You are a leader. I am a leader in my own company, in my own society. Same for everyone that's listening for us. It could be in Scouts, it could be in church, it could be anywhere. You're a leader, you're already doing that. So we don't need anymore your empowerment. That's like, okay, we'll give you a session about, I don't know what. What we need now is only opportunities and the capacity to be at the table too. Because now you're creating policies for AI for younger generation without asking the younger generation what they want or how they see it. We are the digital natives. People on the table now creating policies for AI, for work, for technology. They weren't born in an era where there was actual technology there. So for me, the main point that we need, if you want to help us, we need opportunities. Put us on the table with you, put us on the front with you to give you our own insight, youth word, youth vision in order to scale that thing. Because everyone that's doing impact now in the world, of course, there's younger generation. Yes, there is also older generation, but it's our generation that's making impact now. Big companies, unicorns, etc. It's here. So if you want to help us, stop the empowerment, stop the future leader, and start creating them and putting them on the table as actual leaders. Because a leader will not be created like that. So now you're 30, tomorrow you're 31. Okay, you're up to be a leader now. No, it's built. It's something I need to be there, see how companies, policies, governments work in order to start putting my input and then growing there. Yeah.
We're fed up with the talk. خلاص, let's go to action.
Yes, of
Give
course.
us the resources, possibilities, the capabilities, everything. خلينا نبلش شغل. Trust us that we can do it. Teach us, ما عم نقول لا, teach us. But coming, give us the opportunity that our voices can actually be heard and used and implemented.
Of course, it's very important because I didn't say we don't need the experience.
No, I know.
Older generation, big CEOs, big government people.
You can always learn from them.
They do have the big experience. They know how to run things, but they don't have what we have as input. And that's the point
this
of
fresh perspective.
Yes, exactly. And the youth empowerment thing is just about sessions. Like we'll be there, we'll help you create a new thing, a new project by giving you theory. And that's something we don't need anymore because it's everywhere. We do have GPT in our pocket that could give me the biggest business model in 3 minutes. And that's something that we need to understand. We're not there for theory anymore. Theory is gone, it's long gone. Now it's time for practice and try to putting this theory up to work. And how do we do it? By sitting at tables. It could be at youth councils. It could be at government councils. It could be at boards of companies. For me, I believe that on each layer of company, you should have a youth there or a young person. Why? Because usually the government or the high-end people that are usually old come to us. They ask us, what do you need? Let's draft a paper, etc. But this paper, to arrive to the government or to the president, it will pass by many layers. And these are filtered because they don't have youth people to say, yes, that's what we need. And that's where they are rephrased to arrive as a lame problem that isn't seen as a big threat or a big problem.
Brian, part of the mission of Voices Beyond Borders هي to highlight شباب وأشخاص especially بلبنان عن جد عم بيعملوا impact و they believe that they can create something.
And that's very important.
Okay, this is just a podcast, but at the same time, we hope it's a platform that حيلا حدا وين ما كان بلبنان إن كان من الشمال أم من الجنوب أم من البقاع من بيروت, if they just listen to these stories and they get inspired and okay, I can actually بلش من وين ما أنا, small actions every single day, one action over one action over one action, we can create a change. So hopefully now to everyone who's listening, they can get inspired by your story ويقولوا if he done it, إذا مثل ما قلنا أنت من عكار ما كنت من بيروت ولا شيء, then I can do it. Then maybe someday, let's say in 2, 3, 5 years, I can be where he is now, even if not more successful.
Yes, exactly. And that's the ripple effect, you know, that you did something great, people are seeing it, and now they're inspired. Because for me, I'm no different than any other people that is looking now at the podcast or watching, because I was just there like a few years. And the whole point that you need to see, it's just like you said, it's baby steps. No one will come from an ungrown environment knowing nothing to become part of the Global Leadership Council.
It's a process.
It's not like that. Exactly. I passed by the UNDP Youth Advisory Board and then worked with the EU, become an EU Gene Connector, etc. It's all baby steps that teach you a lot along the way to become there. And that's something
Plus
we
you
should
build
tell
your
for
connections
everyone.
along the way as well.
Exactly. The connection, the work, and the whole experience you get. And it shapes you. It shapes you to become the identity you are. And it's something we should tell everyone. If it's something that you truly believe, that you can see even when you are sleeping, you're seeing it, you're manifesting it, we can say, it's something that can, like, you can make it happen. So just work for it, baby steps. It's gonna work out. So
Brian, one final question to conclude this episode. لحيلا حدا عم بيسمعنا اليوم, حيلا شاب صبية, what's one advice بتحب تقول لهم إياها?
that's my camera, right?
That's your camera.
So for me, it could be like, just close your eyes, open your ears, and look right at your screen by saying, to become successful in life, it takes more than human capacity. It's like a supplement for the soul. You should be there. You should be pushing. It's the passion about it. And what I'm going to say, no business coach will say it, or no other people will just look at you and say it. What you're actually doing now in the real world, in a world that's blended with difficulties, problems, innovation, technology, etc., you're keeping up. And that's something amazing. That's already huge what you are doing, growing in this environment. That's the first part. So the second part is just look at the word, and everything you could look at, think at, dream of, just do it. And trust me, there are people, it could be Francesco, it could be me, I would be glad to share my socials everywhere, just text me, that are glad to help you, because a hand alone أو إيد لوحدة مش رح تزقف, and we need you to build the whole world again with big technologies, with big opportunities and youth power. So, and also it's a big thanks for you, Francesco, for having me there, giving me this platform to look at people and just tell them it's possible, because I'm just no different than them. I'm just a guy. I'm just there and growing in this environment, and a lot of people can do much better than I'm doing.
Thank you, Brian, for عن جد sharing your story, being honest with us, and you have no idea يعني. I've known you personally for a couple of years, and بحس اليوم إني تعلمت شيء جديد منك, و I'm like more inspired to do more and create more. فعن جد thank you so much for your time, for your dedication, and to everyone who's listening and watching us today. If you want to know more about Brian and his journey, أكيد you can follow him on social media, Bryan Youssef, Edubold, Kubold. If you've loved this episode of Voices Beyond Borders, I'm glad to tell you that this is just the first episode of season 3. We still have a lot to come. Make sure to subscribe, to follow us, and stay along for the journey. Until next time, stay safe, and thank you, everyone.